want this fight with Kevin Shells? I'm Shells.
Kev, 8 Count Sports, 8 Count Sports. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? What we got? What we got for the people today, Kev?
Yo, we got our year-ending show, our 4th annual. It's on. We knockout of the year, fighter of the year. We reveal our pound for pound list, top 5 each, upset of the year, the fight of the year, and don't forget the wish list too.
Wish list, of course. You know, it's Christmas coming up. We want to know if Santa's listening. You know what I'm saying? See if he don't. Because we're waiting for next year.
Santa or Dana?
You know what? Nah. If Santa's Dana, ain't no one getting their presents, bro. Ain't nobody getting no presents, bro.
Or maybe the fans of the heavyweight division. I'll leave it at that.
Ah, man, foreshadowing. You foreshadowing right now. How you want to start? What you want to start with, bro?
The granddaddy of them all, man. Fighter of the year, man. Who is the man of man? Who's the king of kings in MMA? Who we talking about?
Well, you know, I'm gonna throw it in there right now. This man, to me, he's the company man. He's the guy that the UFC calls on when they need to save a pay-per-view event. He was the headliner for UFC 300. Who am I talking about? My man, Alex Pereira, bro. Like, this man, it's not only just fight of the year, just his whole trajectory. Like, this guy went from, just imagine where he started from. Before Izzy called him out, say, yo, he just a dude in a bar. That's what the one they say, like, yo, I fought this man before I beat him twice, but he never came to the UFC. This dude came in, and when Izzy was Izzy, he defeated. When Izzy was Izzy, he's the first one to put that chink in Izzy's armor. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying Izzy hasn't had accomplishments since then, but the invisibility facade of Izzy has been gone since then. This man went in, took over the middleweight division, then went on to take over the light heavyweight division, bro. And now he's being called out by what many consider to go as the guy that he wants to fight next. Like this man, and not to mention, like I said before, he headlined UFC 300, the crazy knockout of Jamal Hill. His fights never disappoint. He's a fan favorite. He's the people's favorite. I think he deserves the 2024 title, Fight of the Year. What about you, Kev?
3-0. That's 3-0 in 2024. 3 knockouts. 3 knockouts. That's who Jamal Hill.
Fails, bro.
Jamal Hill, the rematch with Yuri. The kick heard around the world, just made comeback up and knockout of the year, and then it finished it off with what might have been the fight of the year with his Khalil Roundtree. You know that I can't disagree with that, but I will. But I will. As good as Peloton was, I gotta go with another person, man. Straight from Spain. 1 pound for pound win, and then a legendary win coming behind it against a man that ain't never been knocked out. The boogeyman, the boogeyman of boogeymans, BMF. You know what I mean? Ilia Topuria, man. I mean, if you started the year off telling me somebody was gonna go, that was undefeated coming into the year, was going to knock out both Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the same year, I would have told you then that would have been fight of the year. But it's like, I waited all the way to December to tell you fight of the year, Ilia Topuria, still undefeated, 8-0 in the UFC, and that's 6 finishes out of the 8. And he saved his very best for last. He keeps getting better every time I see him. I don't know what to say to you, man. I don't know. Maybe he might take down the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Maybe, depending on who you got on your list. But I gotta go with Ilia Topuria, man.
And I gotta respect this, cause like going to what you said of how things are looking for him in 2025. I gotta respect. You know, first of all, he wants to move up to the lightweight division. You know, the 155 pound division, and he's calling out Charles Oliveira could get a shot at Islam Makhachev. Bro, like, you gotta respect the call out. Like, you gotta respect the strategy, the thinking. It's like
3 killers in a row. I take Max. I'll take Charles Oliveira to get to Islam. Like what?
Yeah, you gotta respect. What about knockout of the year, bro?
Knockout of the year. Knockout of the year. All right. If I'm up first, there was a lot to choose from. I'm going to.
I can go first if you want me to.
You want to go? I go first. Go first.
Listen, man. Going back to UFC 300. Speaking of Max Holloway, for the BMF belt between Max Holloway and Gaethje, bruh, going to the center of the octagon with Max Holloway, who's already winning the fight, and decides to go out with a bang like a real BMF should, calling Gaethje, who's another BMF, to the center of the octagon and knocking the guy out on the last second of round 5, bruh, that is knockout of the. That's I want to say. That's knockout. That's a Hall of Fame knockout right there. Knockout of the year, bro. Like it doesn't get no between 2 Hall of Famers. Exactly. It doesn't get any more cinematic than that. You got to give it to the Max Holloway knockout of Gaethje for UFC 300 for the BMF belt, bro.
Listen. I'll give you some honorable mentions. Peloton, your fight of the year against Jamal Hill. Basically. The wave got kicked low. That's an honorable mention. But man, I'm with you, bro. For that, we go into upset of the year, brother. Upset of the year. I guess I'll go first since you went last time. This one is for this one. It wasn't necessarily an upset because I could see Merab potentially beating Sean O'Malley because that's the fight that I'm going with.
Gotcha.
But the way it was done, the dominance that was displayed, Sean O'Malley going into the fight was the man. Top 5 pound for pound, knocked out knockouts all galore. For him to go into that fight and get dominated the way he was, he got kissed on the neck, on the back. It was a total. He got shut down. Nobody's even talking about O'Malley right now. Where coming into the year, he was one of the most talked about fighters in the UFC, not just the division. So I go with Merab against O'Malley. In that case, more of the way it happened as opposed to as much the result.
Okay. The fight I'm gonna pick I'm gonna say upset in a sense of the context in which this fight happened. UFC 299, Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Now, the reason why I'm gonna call this an upset is because this was at a point when Saint Denis was an up and comer in the lightweight division, and it was as if the UFC was taking Dustin Poirier as like, we're gonna give you as a slaughter. Because before it looked like we didn't know Dustin still had it, as if Dustin was still Dustin.
Sacrificial lamb. Yeah.
Slow kiss and sacrificial lamb. This is the name that if you beat Dustin, you're gonna be up there as a top 5 contender, and eventually you're gonna get that title shot. And we was all looking at it as like, this could be the fight that breaks Dustin. And for Dustin to put on the show the way he did, and to show that, I'm still him, like, don't forget that. I really haven't heard Benoit name since, like
yes.
You haven't, like, it was one of those fights where like, this fight is gonna make or break your career. Like, we're gonna see if you really have it, and we're giving you it's like, it was really supposed to be a passing of the torch fight.
Right. Yeah, it had that vibe.
Say it again?
It had that vibe.
Remember, Dustin was coming off a loss from Gaethje.
Right.
So it was like, we all thought this was the up and coming guy, and this was going to be the guy that's going to be to give new blood to, because I think you pointed out for the lightweight division that the top 5 is like the same guys that's just rotating around each other, and we thought this was going to be a guy to put new blood into that roster, that top 5 circulation, and make things more exciting. But Dustin said, not on my watch, not on my legacy. And so I gotta give that the upset fight of the year, bro. We said fight of the year. What about fight of the year?
Yeah.
Fight of the year. You got one in mind, Kev, or?
You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna go with the guy that you just mentioned, Dustin Poirier against Islam Makhachev for me. That fight.
Okay.
Going into that fight again, I didn't think we'd be going into Dustin as much as we were going into, but
Okay.
going into that fight, he was an underdog once again. It was one of those things. It was that title shot was supposed to go to Gaethje.
Okay.
Gaethje ended up taking the Holloway, and I don't want to say Poirier backed his way in, but he was maybe more the unlikely contenders. After what happened, everybody compares Islam to Khabib. This kind of was a measuring fight for Khabib. I mean, for Islam to see because Khabib beat Poirier way back when. So this was kind of a measuring. This was more viewed as a measuring for Islam, excuse me. And what we saw was Islam get caught up in the toughest fight of his career to date. I mean, the first Volk fight was tough, but it showed how phenomenal both fighters were, because both fighters actually had to excel in areas that weren't their strongest points. So because Islam couldn't dominate Dustin on the ground, like he got Dustin down several times but couldn't capitalize when he got him down. Dustin, on the flip side of that, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, everything, and it forced Islam to have to stand with Dustin Poirier. And when that happened, it was Islam that showed up and was able to hold his ground. And on the flip side of it, Dustin was able to hold his ground on the ground as well. And it led to the dramatic finish of the last, I think they were in the 5th round when Islam secured the Darce choke. You know, it was nice to see Khabib give Dustin his props at the end. Everybody recognized, I think it showcased how great Islam was and is in comparison to Khabib and everybody else in the division. And it really showcased also, the last thing I'm going to say, Dustin Poirier's evolution. You got to remember, when Dustin Poirier first started, like, he started at featherweight. Remember, he got knocked out by Conor McGregor. I think I was like in the 1st round. Came back, beats Max Holloway, beats Gaethje, beats Conor with the leg kicks. When that fight started with him and Conor, like, I don't want to veer too far off. Conor was having his way, and Justin made the adjustments in the second fight with the leg kicks. It's just the evolution of a fighter, and it shows how hard it is to win a championship in the UFC, because Dustin hasn't done that. You know what I mean? Even everything came full circle. I think even though Dustin didn't win, I think it just added to his legacy in the defeat. It was an all-around great fight.
I'm going to choose fight of the year. Was the most exciting it was, and this could probably be summed up in the 5th round of the year. Was Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler 2. It was just it made us remember why the people love Michael Chandler, and it also reminded us of how dominant of a fighter Charles Oliveira is. For the first 4 rounds, Charles Oliveira was really taking his time, and he was really dominating Chandler, and it was to the point where Camille, you watched this at David West with a couple of our other friends. It was to the point where the people was rooting for Chandler, and in that 5th round, his last root up, he really rallied the people behind him, and this is the way it ended, like to fall backwards on Oliveira twice in reference to their first fight.
Right.
It was like full circle. Even though Chandler lost, it was just the way he did it, and then it was so good of a fight that it even gave Chandler his time to talk, even though he lost. He could do his crazy calls and stuff like that. That was just fight of the year. It was the excitement and this, just, you know, it was in Madison Square Garden. It was just a fight set for that type of arena, for that type of event, co-main by the heavyweight bout between the GOAT and heavyweight GOAT. You know how that thing.